Namaste students. I hope you all are doing good. Today in this video I am going to explain you principles of insurance from chapter 4 Business Services. Let's start the topic Principles of Insurance. Principles of Insurance. As we all know, insurance is a contract of two parties. And there are many elements which are required for a valid insurance contract. Like there should be acceptance, there should be a consent of both the parties, the agreement should be present for a valid contract of insurance. Beside all these elements, there should be a principles which should be followed for the contract of insurance. So today we are going to do this principles of insurance. Our first principle is principle of utmost good faith. This earlier also I had explained principle of utmost good faith. It means it refers to that the insurer means the insurance company who is going to do the insurance and the insured, the person who is taking the insurance. Both the persons should disclose each and every fact and information with each other. That is the main base of this principle. Principle of utmost good faith means the person, both the parties should disclose each and every fact with each other. Clear this thing? Now this I'll explain you with the help of one example. For example, Raghav is a heart patient and but he concealed this thing while taking the life insurance policy. Now he died due to the heart attack only. This fact the insurance company come to know after his death. Now insurance company is not liable to pay any compensation to the dependent of Raghav as the contract is not valid, the contract is void. Now why contract is void? Because the Raghav did not follow the principle of utmost good faith, in which we have to disclose, we have to tell each and every information, each and every fact to each other. Like insurance company also should tell each and every conditions related to the insurance, and the person who is taking the insurance, that also tell each and every fact or information to the insurance company. Otherwise this contract will be void. I hope principle of utmost good faith is clear. Next is principle of insurable interest. Insurable interest. It refers that there should be a relation between the insured person and the subject matter of insurance. It means the person who is taking the insurance policy of his life, of others' life, or of his property, there should be a relation between that. For the valid insurance contract, it is essential to have a relation between the insured and the subject matter. For example, the person should get damage due to the person should occur a loss due to the damage of the property or life, or otherwise on the other hand the person should get benefit by the safety of the subject matter. That subject matter may be any other person's life, or you may say any property, his property, or that can be a subject matter. So insurable interest says that there should be a relation between the insured person and the subject matter for which the person is going to take insurance policy. These insurable interests are of different type, like son and father has an interest in each other's life, husband and wife has an interest in each other's life. Like I have a car, so that is my property and I can get the insurance of my car, and the other things also. See, basically there should be one condition only, if that property or that life is damaged, so that person should occur a loss due to the damage of that property, and with the safety, with the security, the person should get the benefit. So principle of insurable interest refers that there should be a relationship between the insured and the subject matter in which the person stands benefited by its safety and get lost by its loss. Clear this thing? Now, this insurable interest is different in different insurance contracts. Like in life insurance, if a person gets his wife's insurance, the person gets his wife insured in that case, and later on the person takes divorce from his wife, then the insurable interest is over. Now the insurable interest is over in the life of wife, but then also this contract is not void. This is a valid contract. Now why? Because one condition apply in all the insurance contracts. Like in life insurance, the insurable interest must be present or must be required at the time of taking the policy. When the person is taking life policy, there must be a insurable interest at that time only when the person is taking the policy. Now, second condition is in the case of fire insurance, the insurable interest is required at the time of taking the policy as well as when the loss occurs. Means at both the time the insurable interest must be of insured person, then only the person will get the compensation. But in case of life insurance, the insurable interest is required only at the time of taking the policy. But in fire insurance, the insurable interest is required at the time of taking the policy also. It means, for example, if I am taking a insurance of my house, fire insurance I am taking for my house, then there should means the house should be mine at the time of taking policy also, and at the time of when the fire occurs. At that time when the damage occurred, then also the house should be mine, and at the time of taking the policy also the house should be mine. Clear? So in case of life insurance policy, only at the time of taking the policy. In the case of fire insurance, at the time of taking the policy also, and when the loss occurs, then also insurable interest is required. Now third insurance is marine insurance. Now in the case of marine insurance, the insurable interest is required or essential at the time of occurrence of loss only. It means when the person is taking insurable interest and at that time the person doesn't have any insurable interest with that property, then also the insurance company, the marine insurance will be valid. These are the conditions for insurable interest. I hope this principle is clear to everyone, because this principle is most important principle. Clear? Next is principle of indemnity. Now this principle refers that the insured can get only compensation against the actual loss. He can't make profit out of the insurance. Principle of indemnity says the insured person will get compensation only and only of the actual loss. Will get a actual loss compensation only. He can't make profit out of the insurance. Clear this thing? Principle of indemnity means the actual loss only will be compensated by the insurance company. Actual loss only. For example, if a person is taking an insurance of a stock worth rupees 50,000, suppose he is taking a fire insurance of his stock worth rupees 50,000. The stock worth is also 50,000 and the insurance also he is taking only 50,000. Then when the due to fire the loss is suppose 20,000. So the insurance company will pay only and only the actual loss, not the complete 50,000. See, the person has taken an insurance of rupees 50,000, but the loss occurs only 20,000. In this case, the insurance company will pay the actual loss amount only. Clear this thing? Now one more example I will give you. See, actual loss or the sum insured which is less. The insurance company will pay that amount only. I'll take one more example for this. For example, a stock of worth rupees 50,000 and the person has taken an insurance means sum insured. Sum insured, I hope you all know. Sum assured. I hope you all know the meaning of sum assured. Sum assured is a total amount for which we are taking the insurance. And in this case, the person is taking an insurance of 70,000. See, stock is worth rupees 50,000 and he is taking an insurance of 70,000. Now a fire broke up and the whole stock get damaged. Now the insurance company will pay the compensation. In this case, the insurance company will pay the compensation of rupees 50,000 only because the loss is of 50,000 only. And principle of indemnity says the insurance company will pay the actual loss only. On the other hand, if insurance company is if an insured person is taking insurance of a stock worth rupees 50,000 and he is taking an insurance of sum insured is 30,000. For example, the person has taken insurance of 30,000 and the stock worth is 50,000. In that case, when the damage occurs or when the complete stock has been damaged, in that case, the insurance company will pay only 30,000 because person has taken an insurance of only 30,000. So actual loss or the sum insured, whichever is less, the insurance company will compensate that amount only which is less. Either the insurance company will pay the actual loss or either he will pay the sum insured. Sum insured means the total money for which the person has taken the insurance. Clear this thing? I hope these three principles are clear to you. First principle says the person, the insured and the insurer should disclose each and every fact and information with each other. Principle of insurable interest says that there must be a relation between the insured and the subject matter. Means the person can take insurance of his property. The son and father has a interest in each other's life. That is the insurable interest. And third principle says principle of indemnity means the insurance company will compensate only and only actual loss. The person can't make profit out of the insurance. Next is principles of contribution. Principle of contribution. This principle suggests that if a person gets insurance of his property by 3 insurance companies, or you may say by more than 1 insurance company, then the loss will be compensated by all the 3 companies but in proportionate manner. See, principle of indemnity says the person can't make profit out of insurance company. So if in the case then the person get insurance more than 3 companies, then the actual loss will be not compensated by the insurance companies individually. Means separate they will not compensate the loss. The actual loss they will compensate but in a proportionate manner only. Clear this thing? This I will explain you with the help of one example. For example, a person gets his house insurance by 3 companies A, B and C. The house worth rupees 12 lakh and the person has taken insurance from first company of rupees 2 lakh. Then from second company he has taken insurance of 4 lakh. And from third company he has taken insurance of 6 lakh. Now house is one only, means property is one, but the person get it insured by 3 different insurance company. Now in this example only, if I say now a fire broke out and the house is damaged, some loss occurs in the house, and that loss is rupees 60,000. Now the loss which occurred, that is of 60,000. Now this 60,000 loss, this actual loss will be not compensated by all 3 companies. They all will not compensate the loss. See, like this, so the person will get profit. So in this case, this principle of contribution suggests if a person has taken insurance policy from 3 companies, then these 3 companies will compensate the actual loss in proportionate manner. The proportion of the insurance is 2:4:6. It means 1:2:3. This is the proportionate of these 3 companies. Means this 60,000 will be bear by all these companies in this ratio only. It means first company A will compensate 10,000 to the person, company B will compensate 20,000, company C will compensate 30,000 rupees, and as 60,000 will be compensated to the party, to the person. Clear this thing? Principle of contribution basically says, it refers that the actual loss will be compensated by all the 3 companies from which the person has taken the insurance policy. If the person has taken the insurance policy from more than one insurance company, then all the insurance companies together compensate the loss. This is the principle of contribution. Clear this thing? Next is principle of subrogation. Principle of subrogation refers that when the insured person takes the compensation, then the right related to the subject matter will be transferred to the insurance company. Clear this thing? See, for example, I have taken an insurance of my house, and the house is worth rupees 10 lakh, for example, and due to fire I got a loss of rupees 60,000, or maybe complete houses now it's damaged, and now the insurance company will pay me this 10 lakh rupees. Now after paying this 10 lakh rupees, after getting the compensation, now I don't have any right on that subject matter, the waste which is there in the house. The person can't sell that waste and make money. Now that waste will be transferred to the insurance company only. Clear this thing? Clear? Subrogation means the rights related to the subject matter after the compensation, that will be transferred to the insurance company only. The insured person can't sell the waste of a thing, waste of the property. For example, if I taken a theft insurance of my car, now my car has been stolen by someone. My car has been stolen and the worth of my car is rupees 6 lakh. Now I have taken the theft insurance, so insurance company will pay that 6 lakh to me only. So after taking the compensation, now the right related to my car is transferred to the ownership is transferred to the insurance company only. And after that, when they get the car back, now the car will be of an insurance company only, because I have taken my compensation. Clear this thing? So this principle refers that after getting the compensation, the right related to the subject matter will be, subject matter means the property, the right related to the property will be transferred to the insurance company only. Clear principle of subrogation? After getting the compensation, the right related to the subject matter, right related to the property will be transferred to the insurance company only. The insured person can't sell the waste and they can't make money out of it. Clear? Sixth principle is principle of mitigation of loss. This principle refers that the person should try to minimize the loss of insured thing. See, it doesn't mean that we have taken insurance, now we are free. Fire is breaking out, now we are standing like this because our subject matter is insured. No, this should not happen. The person take each and every step to save the property. They should immediately call the fire brigade. They should try to extinguish the fire, and then only the insurance company will compensate. And if the insurance company comes to know that the person has not taken the measures, or the person has not tried to get the loss, get the fire down, then the insurance company will refuse to pay the money. So principle of mitigation of loss says the person should try to minimize the loss. The person should try to minimize the loss. He should call the fire brigade. He should take all the measures to slow down or to extinguish the fire. Clear this thing, so that the insurance company will pay the, after that only the insurance company will pay the compensation. So principle of mitigation of loss says the person should try to minimize the loss. Clear? Then only the insurance company will compensate. Clear this thing? Next is principle of proximate cause. This principle states that the insured is compensated only when the loss occurs due to the reason mentioned in the insurance policy. But if the loss incurred due to the reason which are not mentioned in the insurance policy, then this principle is to be followed. According to this principle, according to the principle of proximate cause, when the loss is a result of two or more causes, then the nearest, the proximate cause should be taken into the account for determine of the amount, the compensation amount. See, if the reason of loss is not mentioned in the insurance policy, then the insurance companies, then in the case of proximate cause, the insurance company is bound to pay the compensation if we have taken the insurance of proximate cause. See, sometime it happens when we take the insurance policy, they write all the possible causes of losses, but if they forget to write one or two conditions, then if it is the nearest cause and if it is a proximate cause, then the insurance company is bound to pay the compensation, otherwise not. Clear? This principle says this thing only, the principle of proximate cause. This will be more clear with this example. For example, if a person has taken a marine policy for sending a sugar bags. See, person has taken a marine policy to sending a sugar bags he has, and he has taken a policy to sending this sugar bags. On the way, rats made a hole in the ship through which the sea waters enter in the ship. Now, then the sugar bags become wet and soggy. See, now the cause of loss, the nearest and the proximate cause of loss is sea water only. The other thing is different. The rat has made a hole in the ship, then only sea water entered. But now here the proximate cause is sea water only, and the insurance company has to pay the compensation to the insured person. On the other hand, if the rat would have directly damaged the sugar bags, damaged these sugar bags, then the insurance company is not bound to pay the compensation, as this is not comes under the marine insurance policies. As under the marine insurance policies, the loss due to the sea perils only are insured, not the other, not the losses losses occurred by the rats and all. Clear this thing? See, under this example, there may be two reasons for damaging these sugar bags. See, one is sea perils only, and the other can be any one of them. See, if the damages occur due to the sea water, then the insurance company will definitely pay. But if the rats directly damage the sugar bags, then the insurance company will not bound to pay the compensation, as under the marine insurance only sea perils are insured, not the causes which are due to the rats. Clear this thing? Next and the last principle is principle of warranty. Here warranty means the terms and conditions which are written in the insurance policy, and that must have to followed by the insured. Clear? It is essential to follow each and every term and condition by the insured person. If the person will not follow these terms and conditions, then the contract will be void. Clear? Insurance company is not bound to pay the compensation. Here we have two types of warranties. First is express warranty. Express warranty. Express warranty means the agreement, the terms and conditions are written and are mentioned in the policy, mentioned in the agreement, and that has to be followed by the insured person. For example, if in the agreement it's written that this ship will not go to the particular or certain specific ports, then the insured is not allowed to take their ship to that particular port. It should not be go to that ports, otherwise the insurance company will cancel the contract. That is express warranty, which is written, the terms and conditions which are written in the agreement. Second is implied warranty. Sometimes the terms and conditions are not written in the contract, are not mentioned in the insurance policy, but then also some things should be followed by the insured person, and that is known as the implied warranty. Clear this thing? For example, I have taken a marine insurance. I have taken insurance for my ship and will be sailed through the route which is followed by the other, commonly followed by the other ships. See, it's understood that I am not allowed to follow a new route without permission of the insurance company. So I have to follow the same route which is followed by the other ships if I have taken insurance of my ship. Clear this thing? See, if I follow the other route and then the insurance company can cancel, because it's an implied warranty. I have to follow this thing only. Other ships are following this route only, so I also have to follow the same route. Otherwise, if I do the new thing, then the insurance company will not liable to pay me the compensation, as the contract is invalid, or you can say it's a void contract, because I am not following this implied warranty. Clear this thing? So these are the principle of insurance: principle of utmost good faith, principle of insurable interest, principle of contribution, principle of subrogation, principle of proximate cause, principle of indemnity, and principle of warranty. There are 8 principles which should be followed for the valid insurance contract. I hope this is clear to all.